Hello, welcome to On Trail. Today we're in beautiful St. Catharines with Kurt from Liberty Cycle.
Hi, everybody.
So I saw on your website that you've been here since 1992. Tell me a little bit about the starting of the shop.
Wow. I got into this because I was a cyclist for years and years. I'd been riding since I was a little kid. And when I graduated school in, I guess it was 1990, there was a bit of a recession and I couldn't really find work. So I fell back on what I loved, and that was cycling. I took a job in a bike shop and did really well. And then I had a buddy of mine say, "Hey, Kurt, why don't we start a bike shop?" And I said, "Well, you know, I didn't really study to be a bike mechanic or a bike shop owner. So I'm not doing anything else. So why don't we give this a shot?" Right. And then we got into it. We were looking at locations, and St. Catharines was a really cool little town. And we said, let's open it there. And then we just proceeded. But, before we even opened, he kind of pulled out. And it was like,
Oh,
um, what do you mean you're pulling out? Like this was your idea. But I was so deep into it already. I already spent a bunch of money and put some investment in, and then it was my bike shop. So yeah, I kind of tripped into this biz, but over the course of time, it's been really fun, and I've really enjoyed it. I'm so happy that I've been able to kind of keep it going for this long.
I have to ask about the name Liberty with an exclamation mark. Does that refer to the liberty that you get from riding a bike?
Yeah, pretty much. I was a bike tourist for a long time, and I was just exploring on my bicycle and going different places, and I've ridden all over the place. But I really get the sense of freedom when I'm out there. And some of my best times have been riding my bike and just being in the middle of nowhere. And that's kind of where the name comes from. I got to give a little shout out to Barbara Plunder, who designed our logo and helped me put that together. And she was kind of an inspiration for that.
What was the mountain bike scene like in 1992?
Well, mountain biking really started happening in the late 80s, right? So there wasn't really any kind of big mountain bike scene, but people were excited about mountain bikes. And so when we opened the shop, there was this wave of enthusiasm about mountain biking. And, it grew and grew and grew. And so we developed some of the first big mountain bike races, like the Squeezer, which was a big popular thing for like 16 years. I think we had a maximum of 1,400 participants one year.
Wow.
So it was a big deal. We had like superstars like Emily Batty come down and really participate. So I think mountain biking really grew, not just because of us, but because it was new and fresh and interesting.
Do you remember what your biggest selling makes and models were in the early years?
I remember I always kind of lusted after the Cannondale Beast of the East. Cannondale was this kind of new design company at the time. They started putting these mountain bikes together with like fat tubes and lightweight aluminum, and everybody just kind of dug those things. But there were so many cool bikes back in the
Yeah.
day, right? It was new territory. We've learned so much. The original mountain bike was just this cobbled together thing, but with advances in tech and materials and all that kind of thing, we just know so much more, right?
Absolutely. What's the best part about owning a bike shop?
It's great. I mean, I feel like I'm the luckiest guy in the world. We make people happy, right? It's benign. We're not hurting anybody. Um, it's pleasant. This is a great thing to do.
What's been the best development in mountain biking in your opinion?
I think it was a 29-inch wheel
Yeah.
that really did it, which was just, again, just an evolution of the 700C. That really advanced mountain biking in a big way. And it's still with us today.
What's next?
Well, e-biking is a big deal. Like a lot of people are, gravitating to that. Problem with that is it's quite expensive. Like it's not for the average person.
Yeah.
And I kind of worry about that. Like the price of bikes is crazy in some cases and almost unaffordable. And that's the beauty of the early mountain bike scene. Almost anybody could do it. I'm old enough to know this, and we've been here for a long time. We have teenagers, like groups of these kids, all with brand new mountain bikes that probably spent a fortune on, but a fortune was like $800 back then. And they grew up with the sport. But today, to get some kind of top end mountain bike, you're looking at thousands of dollars. What young person has got that? And hopefully we can kind of encourage young people to get back into it. And hopefully we can have bikes that are affordable for them, right?
What's the best bike upgrade?
I will say, having good shoes, good pedals, and a good saddle are probably the biggest thing that will improve your ride.
What's the best bike for this area?
Gravel bikes are being super
Mm.
popular. But in terms of an off-road bike, I still prefer like a 120 for this neck of the woods. The trails are smooth, they're rolling. I think that makes the most sense for people. But everyone approaches mountain biking from a different angle, and everyone's got sort of a different kind of idea about what they want to do, and there's a bike for them. So what I think doesn't matter.
What's the best local riding spot?
12 Mile Creek is great. The local trail volunteers have put so much into it. The Canada Games course around Brock University, Short Hills. There's so many beautiful trails in the area.
What's the best après ride spot?
I like Delaterre. They have great pastries and excellent coffee.
Thanks very much for joining us. Really appreciate
Thanks
it.
for coming in and talking to me.
My pleasure.